this is what Nelson Nash, in really his whole message of what he was teaching us, which is you want to be in two businesses in your lifetime. The first business is the one that you're passionate about, gets you up out of bed every single day, supports the livelihood, supports the family, keeps the roof over your head. But then the second business is the banking business, the business that finances everything throughout your life. And that's what we really need to get honed in on as a society. Welcome back to another episode of the Money Multiplier podcast. I'm your host, Hannah Kesler, and we ask ourselves, do our dollars make sense? Hey, I am here every Tuesday with a new podcast episode, and if you don't want to wait, you can come and join me on Thursdays, Money Mornings with Hannah. It's a live stream, 9 a.m. Eastern time. So hit the bell icon here on YouTube or even go to my social media channels. It streams on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and even LinkedIn. But we have a lot of fun over there. I just go through different topics that are hot and fresh on my noggin of the week. And matter of fact, this week, what we're going to get into is I've been doing some Invisalign. I've been doing a lot more TV and speaking. And I'm like, you know what? I want to invest in my teeth. And it's a pretty penny, I'll tell you. And so this week, I'm actually going to be talking about how I am utilizing my policies to finance for my Invisalign treatment. So just another idea of how you can use your policy. Here's the thing, what's so fun about what I teach in the infinite banking concept space is it doesn't matter where your pain point or your goal is. Because you could be a business owner trying to minimize your tax liability, or maybe you are planning for your exit strategy, the succession plan for the business, and it's you and your business partner. Then we start talking about key man insurance. You could be a mother or a grandparent who is wanting to save for your child's college tuition, or maybe when they need to go buy their first car. You could be 90 years old just trying to figure out, holy crap, I don't like what's going on out there in the world and what's happening within the market. And I want to protect my wealth and my dollars that I have because I'm funding for my lifestyle in my retirement stage. How can I use whole life insurance to fund for tax-free income? You see what I mean? So there's so many different avenues that you can go down these rabbit holes of how to utilize whole life insurance to solve or help with that money situation that you have going on. And that's what's kind of fun. I don't like to totally pigeonhole into one thing of, I'm just the person that if you want to go and get all the money back for the vans, your conversion vans that you're buying for yourself because you're a little road hippie like me, let me show you how to do that. It's a lot of fun having these different conversations around how you can utilize the policy. And how I was thinking about this earlier is I was on a call with a client. He's a client. He's got two policies with us, and he's been hanging around for he started his first one back in 2021. So that's now 4 years. Hannah, come on, math is not mathin' today. So he's been around for some time now, and he wants to even share this message with his community. He's a real estate agent down in South Florida, and he was just talking about how, hey, even if you just look at this policy like it's your emergency fund, and if something happens, because just yesterday, this is from him, just yesterday the market went down, and you can use the policy to finance for emergencies rather than needing to pull from your brokerage account that's invested in the market. Then you have to pay the taxes on that money too when you take it it out, you could literally just look at the policy as it's nothing more than just your emergency fund. And that's where I want people to start with this. Yeah, you can use your policy for paying your taxes, paying for the equipment in your office. Maybe you have tractors, you're a farmer, and you need to finance for that equipment within the farming business. It doesn't matter what it is. And yeah, you can use the cash value immediately, but even if you just start looking at this system like it's nothing more than just a place to warehouse your emergency dollars for the moment when shit hits the fan, is what I like to say. You have that money that's sitting there that you can tap into, and you don't have to ask permission for that money. And you're not going to be penalized if you need to dip into your cash value. And yeah, it's a guaranteed appreciating asset. It's going to keep going up and up no matter what's going on in the markets and the external world out there. But specifically for this episode, why high earners still feel financially stuck. This is a big one because I think it has a lot to do with ego as well. A lot of my doctors, you guys are used to being probably the smartest people in the room. But I'll be honest, when it comes to your money and your wealth building, there's a lack of education there, because even my father, graduating from chiropractic college, they didn't really teach you all about the money business and how to finance for the purchases and prep yourself for taxes, payroll, et cetera, et cetera. And you kind of have to go and figure it out for yourself, or you're just following your CPA, which is, they're filing the taxes. Maybe they're not giving you tax strategies and you need a tax strategist, or the whole world of asset protection, because, cueing Brent Kesler, the higher up your ass is on that flagpole, the bigger the target it becomes. And even the legacy and the estate planning and the wealth transfer and how to minimize people wanting to dip their hands into your bucket, right? The government and attorneys, how can you even protect yourself in that manner? And what I've noticed just hanging around with a lot of these elite and wealthy individuals is I have met people who make buku bucks, 9-10 figures, yet they are laying awake at night and just stressed out of their minds. And then I know other people who are making 50 grand a year and they're sleeping so peacefully and beautifully at night. So it's what gives? People think that, okay, if I had more money, this would solve more of my problems, which it can and it does. But income is not the same thing as wealth. There's a difference here. Income is what you earn, but wealth is what you're keeping, what you control, and what can start to allow you to produce cash flow. Meaning, my little green men analogy, your dollars are your little green men. You go put them to work, and you're making those green men work for you rather than you needing to go work for it. And income is important, okay? I mean, we have to have some stream of income coming in to us. We got to pay the bills. We got to keep a roof over our head. We got to supply for the family, fill our bellies. I don't know about you, but I can't go that long without eating or drinking agua. You see what I'm saying? So income can make you rich, but it doesn't automatically make you wealthy. And a high income can hide truly a weak financial foundation and a weak financial mindset, because a lot of y'all know some people who are kind of keeping up with the Joneses, and they're putting on this facade, if you will, this front to everybody else, but in the background, they're probably stressed out of their mind because they got this a large, enormous car payment or boat payment that they're like, how am I going to keep up with this one? So we got to understand that true wealth is looking at how much am I keeping at the end of the month. There's a guy that I know, all right, he's a chiropractor. He is making great money, okay? Great money every single month. but he's spending every single penny that he earns, and he's stressed out. He is literally enrolled in the National Debt Relief Program because he just cannot get himself out of this financial hamster wheel. And this was before he met us. Now, I'm working with him, helping him get out of the financial hamster wheel. But even though he makes great money, he's not keeping the money that he's making, and that's what's keeping him stuck. It's also, he's keeping up within his business. Okay, I can understand that. And, okay, hold on, ADD is going off. Business side as well. Here's what I've been learning. You can have infinite income. You know what I mean? Like, you can continue to increase income, that there's no infinite ceiling on how much income you can produce. But at the end of the day, your expenses, your bottom line, it can only go to zero, right? So what I like to focus on within my business is how can I keep producing, keep the marketing going, so that I have the income continuing to come in. Obviously, when I need the more support on the back end, my expenses are going to rise. I'm going to want that help within the business to manage and maintain the relationships here and to serve the people who are coming through. But a lot of the times, most business owners are only focusing on the expenses side and how to minimize expenses, which is great, but their mindset is not within the income side and how can I produce more revenue? Because even maybe you are a W-2 high income earner. Let me tell you, it comes down to the revenue of that business, right? Even if you're a salary paid person, it's steady income for you. You know what's going to come in based on other fields where it's commission based, but it's sales at the end of the day, because if your corporation is not bringing in new business, new clients to you, and let's say you're a doctor and you're treating those patients, what is going to be the first let go of that company? It's going to be the people who are on salary and who are not helping produce the new cash flow coming in, or maintaining the cash flow, I should say, too. So even like with my employee mindsets, and I work really hard on this even over here at the Money Multiplier organization. That's why nobody's on salary. Everybody's on a commission base, because that's how we get paid, right? It's just commission based. And so we're all working towards the same goal. And if you structure your employees in that manner you'll get paid once this goal is met, you'll notice that they're more productive and the work starts to actually get done, compared to salary people, or sometimes they're just kind of waiting for the day to go by, right? All right, I don't know how I got off on that little tangent, but it is. At the end of the day, income is important, and you want to continue to increase the income and increase the revenue, but you can only go as little as $0 on your expenses. So how can I focus on creating more profits, but more importantly, keeping the profits that I'm making, right? When it comes to the infinite banking concept, that's what it's all about, is the opportunity cost of your money, the time value even of your money. Okay, how I always say, let's take this $20 bill here. This $20 bill, we have this $20 that's sitting inside of our checking account down at Wells Fargo. And most of the time when you go and buy things, you either pay cash, you bank finance it, or you rent it, you lease it, okay? You obviously probably didn't steal the item or service, okay? So those are really our options. And if I take this $20 bill and I go buy myself, let's say, a car wash, and I just withdraw it from my checking account to go pay cash for the car wash, okay, I've accomplished the goal of getting the service for the car wash, but I no longer have my $20 bill. I got to go out there, work for it, earn it somehow to get the $20 back inside out of my pocket earning me interest again. It's the lost opportunity cost of what that $20 could have always earned me if it was inside of an environment where I'm getting uninterrupted compounding interest. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, and those who understand it will earn it, and those who don't will pay it. Quoting Albert Einstein. So that's what people are mostly conditioned to do, is go work, save up your money, and hopefully, put some dollars away into different investments. All right, my high income earners, maybe you are putting dollars away into 401k because you want the tax deferment right now, like I get it, but you still got to look at the whole scope of everything, right? You got to look at where are you storing your money right now and why are you storing your money there? Question B. Question B. How is the tax treatment where I'm keeping that money at? You need to look at after tax keeping money. That's really what I'm trying to get across here. My point is, what am I keeping after this investment or after I keep my money inside of this account? Even y'all's bank accounts, even if you're not earning a whole lot of interest inside of it, you're still earning some taxable pennies on that money. So what are you earning after you got to pay tax on the pennies that you earn over there? You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm just personally a huge advocate of the infinite banking concept, is because it allows me to store my wealth inside of a place where I am not nervous. See, when that gentleman earlier today, when he said that the market went down, I had no idea. I don't pay attention. I don't got money in the markets, and I'm not nervous about what's happening outside in the outside world. I'm having it stored inside of a place where I still have accessibility to my capital, my money, if I want to use it. And then the tax treatment is it's after tax growth. It's after tax gains, if you will. And that's all tax exempt to me, so that anytime I can loan the money out of the policy, loans are never taxed in the traditional sense. We know that. But tax-free loans I can take out, and even I can start taking out tax-free distributions from the policy, little asterisk here, up to your cost basis, okay? But you can start withdrawing tax-free from the policy. So they classify, and I think I'm saying this correctly, okay? Don't quote me on this, but it's LIFO, last in, last out. No, LIFO, LIFO, last in, first out. Nope, it's FIFO then. First in, first out. Yeah, FIFO, boom. That's what it is. I always get confused on those terminologies. Anyways, here's a new term if y'all don't know. FIFO. FIFO stands for first in, first out, which means my monies that go inside my policy, that's all after tax money, and it's growing in there tax free. And when I want to withdraw the money out, I can withdraw tax free all of the monies that I put into it. But if I start withdrawing over what I've put into it, then it becomes a taxable event. So at that point, what we do, and this is what's kind of cool about the insurance companies with their overloan protection riders, if you get to that point where you have withdrew up to the cost basis, how much you put in, you can now switch the withdrawals to loans and now start taking out tax-free loans from the policy. So when I am using my policies for income replacement in the future, this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be withdrawing the cash value and living off of this money. And, maybe living off of the passive dollars from the investments too that I'm making right now and building for myself. I don't know. I'm 26. Can I have some more time to think about that? But that's what we're doing. I'm thinking long range is another one, right? I'm not just thinking for the right here, right now. I'm thinking the what ifs. Now, given you got to be present, you don't want to go so far deep off the deep end and be a doomsdayer, right? But a failure to plan is a plan to fail. And you need a plan for these times. You need to start thinking about retirement. Even if your child, I'm talking to my cousin right now, his baby girl just turned 1 year old. We're already starting to talk about college tuition and having her first car, when she wants to go and purchase her first house or have a wedding or get her first apartment. You know, it's just important to start thinking about the financing that you're going to be doing within your life, because then you won't be so stressed out about it. Money stress is real. And I literally just had to go to my OBGYN yesterday, and they actually wanted me to fill out the survey of how money has been affecting my life recently. And it was like questions like, hey, do you ever get stressed that there's more week left over than what you can afford just within food? Does transportation limit you to going to work or attending your doctor visits? It was just kind of interesting, like kind of the survey that they wanted me to take. But, it's a big stressor, and it can cause a lot of rift just in your day-to-day life if you're not on top of your financial life. Because love it or hate it, but we live in a capitalist society, and you got to get serious and you got to start taking control of your money, because if not, then you're going to be subject to other limitations that it just may not be the life that you want to live. And you got to think, this is only one life that we have. You know what I mean? And I don't want my pocketbook to dictate what I can and cannot do. Matter of fact, I'm going to hop in my van later on this month, which, by the way, happy July, everybody. Hopefully y'all had a good 4th of July. Didn't get into too much trouble. But later on this month, I'm going to hop in my van because I bought myself a music festival ticket, because that's what I like to do. And I'm solo tripping it, just me and Daisy, and we're going up to Tennessee, and we're going to attend this music festival together. And I'm able to because money doesn't dictate my time. And it's also pretty nice too, finding a gig where you can work wherever you have a computer and internet access in your cell phone. That's been amazing. And honestly, thank you, Starlink, too. We love you, Starlink. Hey, sorry to interrupt the episode here, but I want to take a quick break. If what you're hearing today has made you curious about infinite banking, how it works, I want you to go watch my free presentation. In it, I walk you through the same steps that my family took to pay off $984,000 of debt in 39 months, and how we've been able to recycle and recapture every single dollar since then. This isn't theory. This is real. I mean, this is what the wealthy have been using over 200 years to keep the money within the family. This is literally where banks, conventional banks, store a boatload of their dollars at. And it's the same process that we've helped thousands of families across the country put into action. So go to themoneymultiplier.com/presentation and see for yourself how you can start taking control of your money today. All right, let's get back into the episode. High income doesn't create liquidity. Even if you're a neurosurgeon, and let's say you're bringing in $700,000 a year, you still have a mortgage payment. You still got taxes you got to pay. You still got some business overhead. You got your retirement account, your investment properties, most likely. And sometimes a lot of y'all are locking up your dollars into something that you won't be able to access. A lot of people sometimes are paper rich, but they're cash poor, right? And I don't want to see y'all be living in that way where you start getting frantic. You're like, holy crap, my property taxes are coming due, and I just don't have this money because it's all locked up into this property. So I'm just saying that your net worth can't pay your bills, right? Liquidity does. And a lot of people have the money, but it's just locked away in different types of accounts. And again, I just urge you, look at where you're storing your money at, okay? Where are you storing it? Why are you storing it there? And a lot of you income earners, like I mentioned earlier, you have those 401ks that you're maximizing to defer the taxes and buy the investments, but you're not building the flexibility, right? And the cash flow, even like just with like annuity accounts, for instance. Like some people are putting away dollars into annuities, locking it up because in the future you want that guaranteed stream of income, but you couldn't use the money right now. Oh my goodness, literally, bingo. I just got done reading the book Die with Zero. Don't ask me who the author is. I listened to it on a flight over to Los Angeles. It was an amazing perspective and a different philosophy of why do we as a society work, we hoard our capital and then wait until the very end to use the money that we work so hard for, okay? There's a lot of people who will literally graduate. If you're new here, graduate is dying in our community, in our world, okay? But you will work and then you'll graduate not too long after you stop working, and you've just spent, let's say, 10 years of your life accumulating that capital that you're never going to get the time back, and now you're no longer here to use the rewards of your work over the last 40, 50 years. You see what I'm saying? So tax deferred isn't the same as tax free. That's a big PSA that I really want y'all to get. And a lot of my high income earners, you guys are making great money, but also this success can kind of come with the complexity of structuring yourself correctly. Again, with the asset protection, do you have trust? Do you have your wills and your testaments established? There's more decisions when you're making more money. Sometimes you can even feel that you got to take on some more risk, to keep the money. There is more responsibility. I mean, when you have more money, you're going to have more responsibility, and there is going to be more opportunities for you, which is great. But if you don't have the information and the knowledge, and then you start going and doing stuff and making investments that maybe wasn't the best, and then you lose the money, that could kind of set you back some years. So just talk with somebody, okay? That I'm here, y'all, okay? I know I teach a lot on banking and this infinite banking concept, but anything money related, just come and ask me questions. I have even an Excel sheet, okay, where I'll have my people complete it for me, because first of all, some of you people will call me up and you don't even understand your own cash flow. I ask you, how much are you making? You guys all know that. You know how much you're bringing in. But I ask you what's going out the door, and you're like, I don't know. Y'all, how can you know what to do if you don't understand the cash flow of what's happening within your financial life? So if you want my Excel sheet just to keep clear on it and get in the know, even that one doc that I was just referring to earlier this episode where he's making good money, but he's spending it all. He was even like, I don't want to complete this because I'm nervous. I'm scared of my results and what I'm going to find out, Hannah. Well, good. This is the progression forward to a healthier relationship with your money. You need to know what's going on, because if you know what's going on, you'll know what to do. A lot of us as income producing people, my high income earners, all we really know when we first start off in this journey of making money is we earn it, we produce it, we compile assets, we sell them, and then we really operate with our investments. But we never learn about banking, the liquidity, and capital management. That is super important. How do you manage your money? I've said it before on the pod, but I'll just say it again. Every month, the first Wednesday of the month from 9 to 12, you cannot get a hold of me because I'm going through and I'm looking over what happened within my business and even my personal life of my income, my expenses. And then I start to prep. I look into the future of what I need to be prepping for liquidity purposes, right? And this is what Nelson Nash, in really his whole message of what he was teaching us, which is, you want to be in two businesses in your lifetime. The first business is the one that you're passionate about. Gets you up out of bed every single day, supports the livelihood, supports the family, keeps the roof over your head. But then the second business is the banking business, the business that finances everything throughout your life. And that's what we really need to get honed in on as a society. I'm trying to hit this at the angle of just hitting individual families and people directly. And hopefully this can start to become a mainstream message. And I think it is as time goes on. But people are kind of still doing it incorrectly. Like, no, you can't implement the infinite banking concept with an IUL policy. Sorry, y'all. Go watch my episodes where I break that down. But it's the banking business. You finance every single thing that you buy. You either pay cash, thus giving up the interest you could have earned, or you bank finance it and paying out the interest to somebody else. So what if I could just keep that money within my own banking system and I'm in control of it? I can then maximize that same dollar by giving it multiple duties. Just look at it with this one lens. If this is even helpful, all I'm doing is adding the one additional step of where does my money flow through first? Where does my money flow through first? And then through this system, now I'm going to go buy A, B, C, whatever it is. You're doing it anyways. You're just making your deposits into somebody else's bank, and you're making the bankers very, very wealthy because they're using your money. It's not hard in my opinion. I just don't know why people struggle to hear me out. And I think really what it is because it comes down to, oh, it's whole life insurance. Oh, life insurance is so boring. Life insurance is a scam and blah, 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 blah. Like, I get it, but think about it. Life insurance is the only insurance that's actually guaranteed to happen. And I'm talking specifically on permanent whole life insurance. It's the only policy that's guaranteed to actually pay out and happen because you are guaranteed to graduate and you have a guaranteed expiration date on your body. The only person who can screw up the policy is you and how you use your policy. You cannot pay premiums. You can simply just let the policy lapse. You can not be an honest banker. You could be the type of person that gets in here, you have shiny object syndrome, and you take out all of the cash value. You then go get yourself into a Ponzi scheme, and then you're like, oh shit, now I got no money and I got this premium coming due and I don't know what I'm going to do. This policy is just going to have to lapse on itself now. Like, it's really that straightforward and easy. And I want y'all just to be more at ease. Enjoy your time with your family. Continue to do what you love. If you're a doctor and you love clocking in and doing that, continue to do it. But there's going to come a point in time where you're going to want to leave that profession and you're going to want to have a place where you're accumulating capital where you can use it tax exempt, not let other people dip into your pie. And you're going to want to go buy assets to produce you cash flow when your hands get tired, your feet start hurting, you don't want to bend over the table anymore. Bernd Kesler, I'll tell you. That's why he wanted to kind of leave the chiropractic industry, even though he loves it. He was just like, it's stressful. It's stressful on your body. And there is going to come a point where you're like, I just can't do this anymore. So I ask all these questions though. If your income doubled tomorrow, would your stress disappear? Or would you still be stressed? If the answer is you're still going to be stressed, I would seriously work on your mindset. If you're saying that it would dissipate all of your problems, then hey, You need to start utilizing a system that's better for you, where you're not taking one step forward, two steps back. Again, I ask you, where does your money go after you earn it? Write it down. How much is in there? How much have you accumulated? And could you press the pause button on your job and stop working for 6 months to take a sabbatical? Could you do that? BT Dubs, I did do a whole podcast episode on how the infinite banking concept can fund your sabbaticals, just saying. But if you can't do that, we got to start looking at your cash flow. We got to start producing some passive revenue rather than just you working with your hands. And my last one, do you own the system? Do you own the system of where your money's being stored, or are you just earning into one? Your 401k, your IRA, your CD accounts, your brokerage accounts, are you leaving money under assets under management? I don't know. I've just never found of a better product that allows me to have the control, the freedom, the liberty to do what I want when I want. And I guess maybe that's why I'm a little carefree over here. Because I always want to continue to make more and more money, but more so it's who is in control of my capital. And I've learned that financial freedom isn't about how much money that comes into me. It's about how much control over the money do I have? And that's where I want to get y'all to. I want y'all to feel this blissfulness that I feel every day, how to be more peaceful within life. I've noticed, this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'm going to leave y'all, and then I'm going to catch y'all next week, okay? But I was on the road for about a week and a half. I was up in Canada, And I was up there. Sorry, that was probably bad. And we went to this beautiful resort. It's called Sonora Island Resort. We flew into Vancouver, and then we took a helicopter over to the island, which helicopters are super scary. Like, I don't know. There's just something about helicopters that just really freak me out, because it's not like an airplane where if something happens, you can glide. No, when the helicopter stops, it stops and you drop. I don't like that. It freaks me out. It's like the really far down water slides. You will not catch me on those. I love roller coasters. I love water slides, but the ones that I do not do are the F that. Anyways, I was up there at Sonora Island. We were doing some networking and meeting with some people. And then I went to LA, as I mentioned, and then we came back home. But what I found interesting is even when I wasn't doing my strategy calls, I kind of noticed that my best performing weeks are the weeks that I really don't do a whole lot within my business. And I had a client tell me one time, and I actually have a sticky note on my desk, and it says, "The less I do, the more I make. The power of delegation." And there's actually a good book out there, Who Not How. It's right there, Who Not How. Can you see that? I think you can see it. Dan Sullivan, Benjamin Hardy, great book, changed my whole perspective on my business when I read it about 2 years ago or so. But it's interesting because I had some really, really great weeks, and my best weeks are when I'm on the road and when I'm not in the office day in and day out. And I'm like, there's something here. There's something energetic about this. I don't know. But we're feeling peaceful over here. I just want y'all to really feel the same peace. Continue to think for yourself and question. I will be back next Tuesday for another episode, and come and join me for the live stream this week, 9 a.m. Eastern time. I'll be on. And if you want to catch the replays, go to YouTube. If you look under the live section, and it might say live or it might say streams, but look underneath there and you can find the Money Morning shows. And you can also find them on podcasts, Money Mornings with Hannah, if you like that better on the podcast platforms. But until then, please reach out to me if you want help on this stuff. I'm here. I've seen it all. And I'll tell you this. No, you are not a special snowflake. Some of you will come up to me and say, "Hannah, you have never seen this before. I am just so different than everybody else. I just don't think you can help me." No, you're not. You're not a special snowflake. I mean, I've seen it all. You're pretty much one and the same. All of y'all got pretty much the same dilemmas going on. Sorry to break it to you, but nobody is really that special. even myself included. But I do, as I say that, like, yes, we are just a little blimp in this time in the universe, okay? Let's be real. But this is your world. We're just living in it. This is my world, and y'all are just living in it. So continue to treat yourself as your number one asset, because you are your number one asset. Your ability to love, to give back, to produce, build a family, build a lifestyle for yourself. You know, continue to treat yourself as your number one asset and stop giving the control in other people that control over your life. Lack of better words. All right, until next week, my friends. I love y'all. Please do good, be well, and I'll see you next time. Mwah. Bye, everyone. If you really enjoyed this episode, you'll really like this one.